Let's bring in Landon Donovan, former U.S. men's national team star, LA Galaxy star. He's teaming up with Liberty Mutual Insurance, U.S. Soccer's newest sponsor, to share the excitement in supporting one of America's fastest-growing sports. And Landon joins me on the show. Landon, let me read you the poll question and tell me which game that you think is the best sports game of all time. Peter, read him the options real quick.
Tecmo Bowl, RBI Baseball, any Madden game, NBA Jams, Mike Tyson Punch-Out, EA Sports Soccer, Tiger Woods Golf, any FIFA soccer game. And NBA 2K. Sorry, Landon.
Well, I'm clearly the right guy to talk about video games because it's all I did for like 13 years of my life. I think that they're in different pieces for me because Tecmo Bowl at that time was unlike anything else that compared to it. But recently, video games are so incredible. So FIFA and Madden are phenomenal games. So I guess I put them in different time periods, but at that time, Tecmo Bowl was the absolute epitome of video games.
Yeah, I don't think anything comes close to Tecmo Bowl. You're right. The games are so much better now, and they're so realistic. But back in the the 90s, when I was like in high school and college, late 90s, it was all Tecmo. You plopped on Tecmo and you played for hours, maybe the whole day.
Oh, for sure. And I had totally forgot about RBI Baseball. That was a great game too, because I was an Angel Dodger fan growing up, and so I would play with I remember all those guys so well, and in those days you sort of learned, I guess now too, you sort of learn the athletes through the video game because a lot of the guys you don't know until you play them in the video game, which is good marketing, I think.
Do you played FIFA then, right?
I do.
Do you use yourself?
I do. I play with myself.
That was too easy, right? That was too easy.
Come on, you set me up.
Well, when you use yourself in the game, I mean, I've seen NBA players, Landon, that have used Twitter and other avenues to lobby for higher ratings in the NBA game. You've seen in Madden, Richard Sherman, I think, has lobbied for a higher rating. Have you ever lobbied FIFA for a higher rating in your game?
Well, fortunately for me, they always overrated me, so I didn't have to. So I was fine.
Are you one of those guys that, you just don't pass the ball when you have it?
Well, I mean, you pass the ball, but only if you're going to get an assist for it, so it helps your stats. But otherwise, it's a pass or a shot, yeah. You got to be smart.
He's Landon Donovan, former U.S. men's national team member, former LA Galaxy star, joining us here at Dan Patrick's Show. How was the Masters?
Incredible. That was my first golf tournament I've ever been to, so I liken it to flying on a private plane, your first flight ever. You can't really go back now, so I don't know that I'll ever go to another tournament. It was, like you hear people talk about like the aura around it and how special it is, and as an athlete I was thinking, it can't be that. I mean, like I've been to a lot of sporting events. It's not that special, but you get there and there's just something different about being there. And I had a blast, man. What an incredible weekend.
What are the rules at Augusta for spectators?
Oh, my God. They got a lot of rules. The best rule is you can't have cell phones inside. So for all of us who are, like, connected to our cell phones, it's a lot of anxiety, I think, it's caused. But the best part for an athlete or someone in the public eye is, 10 years ago, people would come up and say, hey, nice to meet you. They'd shake your hand. You'd have a conversation. They'd walk away. Nowadays, it's, hey, can I get a picture? And then they take a picture. They're looking at their phone, and they walk away. And they don't even look you in the eye. They don't engage with you. So they couldn't do that. And I actually had some nice conversations with some fans, which was fun.
What's the clubhouse like?
Well, I don't get to go in the clubhouse.
Well, I mean, the behind the scenes, wherever, besides being on the course, is there an area you can hang? You get a beer?
Well, yeah, I was fortunate. I went to a place that was like the hospitality on steroids. It was with all these restaurants, this indoor area called Berkman's Place. It was phenomenal. I was going to say, if you get a chance to go there, I would highly recommend it. They take good care of you.
Is that the longest you've been without your cell phone?
Oh, yeah. There's no question. I think it's the longest anybody's been without. I mean, when was the last time you were 8 hours without your cell phone?
I don't know. I can't imagine it anymore.
What's this world we live in? It's just so disgusting, isn't it?
Biggest celebrity you saw there?
Actually, I don't think I saw any celebrity. I heard Ryan Seacrest was there, but I don't know. Actually, I don't remember seeing anybody.
You didn't want to meet Ryan Seacrest?
I would have loved to. I've spoken to him on the radio a few times, but, he's sort of in that Dan Patrick mold where you can't really get near him anyway. He's sort of standoffish, so I don't think it would have happened.
Is Dan Patrick unapproachable?
I think, to the average person, yes, Dan is. When he has to do business with you, he treats you cordially and kind, but I think to the average person, yes, that's a fair statement.
What have your interactions been with Dan Patrick like personally?
Well, you don't know what it's like because he knows he's on TV, he knows he's got a mic on, he treats you a certain way. So one day, hopefully, I can meet him off the record and see if he really is a nice guy or not.
He's Landon Donovan, former LA Galaxy star, joining us here at Dan Patrick Show. So you said this was your first golf tournament. Would you go again if invited to the Masters next year? Yeah,
I had a blast. I would absolutely go again. I just don't know if I would go to a different golf tournament because I don't know how you live up to that. I mean, I had pretty high expectations and they were surpassed, so I think I have to stick to the Masters or nothing.
You know what I find interesting about these golf tournaments, watching them on TV? It is very refined. People are quiet. It's polite, except when a ball goes out of play and off the fairway, when it's almost like a mosh pit to be part of the group that's surrounding the ball, which I'm guessing is to get on television.
You think that's what it is? I always thought it was to be close to the golfers, but I think actually now that I think about it, you're probably right, Chris.
I mean, isn't it strange, though, to see these people just chasing down that ball and jockeying for position?
Yeah, and actually one of the other rules at the Masters is you can't run anywhere. So you see these people with these really awkward, fast walks trying to get around the ball. And, to some extent you feel a little bad for them that they're so desperate to get around it. But, I mean, being that close to a golfer is pretty cool. So when for those of us who try to play golf, just hearing the sound and watching the contact they make and how they set themselves up before every shot was pretty impressive to see. And the other thing that surprised me, actually, was that I didn't realize how long they take in between each shot. So when you see it on TV, they're already lined up and ready to hit the ball. But there, I mean, it's like every shot is 2 or 3 minutes where they're looking at their yardage book, talking to their caddy, setting up. I mean, it gets a bit exhausting after a while, and it's like, come on, guys, just hit the ball.
Now, what was your strategy at the tournament? Were you following around one particular golfer? Did you stay at one hole?
Strategy is important at the Masters because there's a lot of people, obviously, and you want to find the right area to be in. So the first day I sat at Amen Corner and watched everybody come through most of the day. The second day I wanted to see Tiger, and I wanted to see what that was all about, and it was sort of like being at an NSYNC concert where the people are just clamoring over him and yelling and following him, and it's like unlike anything I've ever seen. It was kind of like the way it was with Beckham when he was with the Galaxy. And then the end of the second day, I decided to sit at the 16th tee box where you could see the 15th green and the 16th green and then watch everybody come through. So that was a really cool spot to be in.
You ever been to an NSYNC concert?
No comment.
I'm going to extrapolate that and say it's a yes.
I'm not denying nor confirming.
You throw out the first pitch at a Dodger game. You go to the Masters. What's the next stop on the Paul Papps named Landon Donovan retirement tour?
Well, this week I'm in San Antonio, which is really cool. I'm here for the U.S. soccer game. Liberty Mutual Insurance was kind enough to bring me in, and they just announced a new sponsorship with U.S. Soccer, and it's been a pretty interesting week for me because it's my first time being at a game not as a player and to understand the magnitude of what this is, because when you have a sport like soccer that nobody really cared about for so long, and all of a sudden you come to an event like this where there's so much participation, so much fanfare, it's pretty incredible. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here, and it's another fun stop on my retirement tour.
Well, good to visit with you, Landon. The unapproachable Dan Patrick, I'm sure we'll have you on very soon, but you're always welcome when I'm here.
My pleasure. Thanks, Chris.
That's Landon Donovan, U.S. men's national team member.